everyone, welcome back. This is Beyond the Front Porch.
Because where you live is just the beginning.
Yep, and today we're going to talk about how to buy a home when you have a house to sell.
Yeah, and the different options you have for making that process as easy as possible.
And it's not easy. I think moving is right underneath death of a spouse as far as the highest stress things in our lives. So as realtors, it's our job to make it as low stress as possible for you, but it doesn't take away all the stress.
Yeah. So I think we're going to start with kind of like the most difficult way to do the process to what we feel like is maybe the most easiest.
Yes.
And there are some new options these days that we never had before, which I think is really exciting. So stay till the end for the easiest way to sell your home.
Yes.
So I think the most traditional way to do it is to, or the most difficult is when you put your house on the market, you sell your house, and then you move to some sort of temporary housing, and then, you know, look for the house to purchase in the meantime, and then move again. So that, I don't know, that can, it's stressful because you're moving twice. It can like kind of take the pressure off of you as far as selling your home in order to make the whole transaction work.
And finding your perfect home. Like we see people do this a lot when they're moving to a new area, for instance. So if you're brand new to the DFW or Denton area and you don't really know the neighborhood you want to live in, we see people do this a lot because they're already doing the big move. They may as well, you know, just kind of like research and live in the area and find out more about it. But it's stressful.
It's very stressful.
And you can miss out on good deals too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like the whole moving twice thing, renting is a waste of money, you know, like, and especially if you're trying to do a short-term lease where it's only a month or two in between the two homes, then like
that's expensive.
It's a lot more. Apartments will charge you a premium. Even homes will charge you a premium. Landlords will charge you a premium for doing a shorter term lease.
And you've got to store all your extra stuff as well. You've got to worry about, you know, does the rental allow pets? Your kids, are they having to move schools twice as well? There's a lot to think about with that one.
Yeah, I actually did that.
Out just thinking about it.
I did it when we moved from Louisville to Corinth. My son was just turning a year old. We had his 1 year birthday party in our little apartment between the two homes. So we sold our house in Louisville, trying to get the best deal. And it did end up being like a good choice kind of like financially. Yeah. Because we were able to sell our home.
You can sell in the spring and then buy when it's slower.
Yeah. And we weren't stressed to pick, like we got some lowball offers at first.
Yeah.
And we were like, we don't have to move. We just want to move. And so we're just going to like cross our fingers that we can find something that we want when we get the deal on this house. And so we were able to wait for that offer that was just the right offer. Yeah. But then like we had 30 days and we didn't find the house that we wanted here in Corinth until like later. And so we ended up having to move to an apartment for a month. And it was like, because it was just me and my then husband and our one son. So we moved to a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
Me and him and our 1-year-old son, we had his 1-year-old birthday there. And it was just us because there was no room for anybody else. And it was like, you know, it was kind of sad because, you know, he was our first baby and we wanted to have the big event, but we just couldn't. And plus we were putting all our money into our house. So, but yeah, and then we had to put all our stuff in storage and we had to do all of that. And then when we got the house in Corinth, we had to move again, you know, so, in the long run, was it worth it? I don't know. It was very stressful.
Yeah.
Stressful.
And that's where it's like money isn't always everything.
Yeah.
You know, you have to take care of yourself and you have to take care of your stress levels and everything too. And to some people, money is the end all be all most important thing. And this could be a good option for somebody because, you know, you can sell in the spring when the market is hot and you can buy in the fall or the winter when the prices are the lowest. So you can kind of play it a little bit.
Work both ends of the market.
with our special thing at the end, you can kind of do that too. So.
Yes. So that timing it just right is kind of the next best option is to either when you purchase your home, and this really depends on the market, if you can, or sorry, when you're selling your home, if you can negotiate a leaseback. You know, back when the market was really hot, or I think anytime when the
Yeah.
market's really hot, getting a lease back.
We could get 2 or 3 months easy.
Yeah.
And the buyer was like, we just want your house. We'll
Yeah.
let you live in it as long as you need to find your next home. And that was really great, but we're not really seeing that much anymore.
When it's more of a buyer's market and the buyer wants to move into their new house that they just closed on.
Or they want to charge you an arm and a leg to stay in it.
Yeah. So
it's not free anymore.
Yeah. So there is that option. When I sold my house in Louisville, it really wasn't an option. You know, the market just didn't support that. And it was like, no, we want you out. We want our house. And so in order to sell the house, we had to agree to not do a lease back. We tried.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work out that way to get the offer that we wanted.
Yeah. And so like timing it just right. It's like, okay, you know, we have good lenders that can close in 21 days. So it's like, we put your house on the market, we find a contract. And then because right now, sellers, if you're making an offer as a contingency without your house being under contract or on the market, you just get ignored usually.
Yeah.
So you at least need a buyer in line. So once you have a buyer in line, you have that time frame. And then it's like, okay, well, you got a week to find a house. You're negotiating repairs while you're looking for a house. And if it falls through, you're not looking for a house anymore. So it's stressful.
Stress.
And then if they won't give you a lease back, you're showing up to the title company with your moving truck and hoping you get the keys that day. And sometimes it does fund the next day and you don't get keys until the next day. So that can also be very stressful.
Yeah.
And also you sometimes have to settle. You have a short amount of time to find a house. And so you don't get the house that you really want. You get a good house, but it may not check
all your boxes.
Exactly.
Because you had to go with whatever. I mean, because what's on the market right now, that house that's like perfect for you might not be on the market right now.
Right.
So you have to settle for what is available.
Right.
And I've done it where we've gone out and looked at like every single house within the price point and it's just not there.
It's still not there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have control over that when it comes to the purchase side. And so it's like a cross your fingers and hope when it comes to that kind of situation.
And a lot of people, especially if you're selling a home, you don't want to give up the current home you have unless you're getting something better. And so, you know, that's a very delicate balance. So the next least stressful thing is a bridge loan. And a bridge loan is basically where a lender comes in and they offer you a mortgage on your new home using the equity of your old home. And so you can buy the home before you sell the home, which sounds great, right? But a lot of times the fees are very high on that.
Yeah.
I've had people look into them. I don't think I've had a single person do one because of the fees. Have you had anyone do them?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's pretty high. I think it's like 4 or 5% of the loan amount or something.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy like that. Plus you have to qualify. So another option that we've seen is what's called a loan recast, so that is basically where you buy the home, which is kind of the next point a little bit, but you buy the home and then you have 2 mortgages at the time, but they are using, you put minimum down on the next home. So you bought the home with minimum down and you're paying your closing costs. So you have to have that money. And then you take the equity when you sell your home, your first home.
No one.
Yeah. When you sell the home you're selling, you take that equity and you put it towards the loan on the new home and they recast the loan with that big chunk in there. So that brings your payment down.
Yeah. But in the meantime, in between those two, you know, you have maybe several months where you're paying 2 mortgages and the new mortgage is pretty high.
Right, because it's minimum down.
Yeah, so you're talking like maybe 3% down.
Yeah.
But you have to have that 3% down already in your bank account. You have to have the additional money for the closing costs, for the inspections, for escrow and all that kind of stuff. So like, not escrow, earnest and option. So you have to have like kind of a big chunk of money to start with.
Yeah.
And then you have to be able to afford both payments at the same time. So there's some people that works really well for, and some people it doesn't.
Yeah, and there is a fee with that too, but it's much lower than the traditional bridge loan as well. And the perk on that one also is if the interest rates go down in the meantime, a lot of times when they do that recast, they can bring that interest rate down to whatever the current rate is.
Yeah, yeah. So that means that your initial payment is also going to be at a higher interest rate and much higher too. So again, you have to qualify for both of those.
Exactly.
And so what we've been seeing a lot of people do now, and this is a new kind of thing that's come up within, maybe like even the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's a buy before you sell program where they're not really lenders.
Yeah.
But it's a company that has a company model that's come along where they actually give you a guaranteed offer on your home.
Yes.
And give you a portion of your equity up front to go and put the full, pay off your old loan and put a good chunk down on the new home, move into the new home, and then you have usually about 6 months to sell the old home. But that old payment doesn't count because they've technically
they technically own the home. And so basically they're guaranteeing that you have an offer on your current home and allow you to use that equity. There's a couple different programs. This might sound confusing. So, but it's a program that we have access to, and you'll see a lot of bigger companies have access to these programs, but the ones that we have access to are more local. They're more, you can negotiate these terms. And so we make it a little bit easier. So there are some where they actually buy the home from you and they give you a payment in 2 stages. But you can continue to live in the home. There's another one where basically you put your house on the market and you have 4 to 6 months to sell it. And they've given you a guaranteed offer at the very beginning. So if you can't sell the house, you have a guaranteed offer that they will pay. And it's a market value offer as well. And they don't like to just buy the home at that moment in time. They want to give you a chance to sell it, which honestly I like, because then you can see what the market wants to offer. Because that's been, cash offer programs are great, but you always wonder, could I have gotten more on the market? Right now we have a tougher market, so it's a little bit more advantageous to do these. Yeah, and there's pros and cons to everything, but we found that this is really one of the easiest ways to do the double move.
Yeah, because it's not a double move. You're moving once.
Exactly.
And it's like the you don't have the double payments because that doesn't count against you for your mortgage. So it's going to be a lower, like a more realistic mortgage on the new house.
Right.
And yeah, we don't need to get into the weeds because it is something that is a little bit more complicated to explain. But it basically means that you can move into your new house. Yeah, you can move into your new house before you sell the old house. You can buy the new house before you sell the old house and not have all of the payments and extra money and all that kind of stuff.
And the
that's
lender
happening.
fees. Yeah.
Lender fees. And there is a fee associated with doing this, but you're typically not paying a buyer's agent either. So
it kind of evens out. Sometimes it's a little bit more expensive, but you don't have to deal with staging, showings, all that stuff.
Yeah, and they give you an offer for the house as is. So that means that you don't have to do a lot of the replacing the carpet and fixing up and all painting and all that kind of stuff that you would have to do. If you have dogs, you don't have to worry about getting the dogs out of the home for showings. Yeah. Or, trying to pretend like you don't have dogs living there or, kind of all of that stuff that goes along with it. Yeah. And you only move once and you get to, find the house that you love and then put your house on the market.
Right. Which is the best scenario, because if you're in a rush, you could get a house that you don't really like or feel like you're stuck in it. Where I've had people where they've been trying to do this whole thing. We find a house that they love. They feel like they have to stick with it, even though the inspection didn't go very well. And it's been a whole big back and forth of if they want to move forward or not, because, they've already got an offer on their house or contract on their house they're selling. And so they have to sell their house. So then they have to move. And so then it's like, well, then what do we do? So this takes away so much of those scenarios.
And you're not buying with a contingency because you already have an offer on the home. You already have a guaranteed sale of the home. They're going to give you the money you need to buy the new home. So there's no contingency at all. It's not the old house is already kind of taken care of when you're buying the new house. So it makes your offer a lot more desirable to the person that you're buying from too.
And then we can time those closings advantageously for you as well. So it just really works out so much better stress-wise. And there are some, so back before what I said, so you can sell your home to one of these companies in the spring and then be living in it. And then you buy a home 3 months later when the market's a little bit more settled down as well.
Yeah.
So you can really take advantage of that, the prices, the natural pricing of the market. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the pros and cons and the different more traditional ways of moving to a new house versus some of the options that we have nowadays, and the pros and cons of each one. So if you have any questions about any process of buying and selling a home, or what you think might work best for your situation and your needs and what you want out of the sale of your home, we'd love to talk to you. So we can run, if you're looking to sell, we can run your home through the buy before you sell program, just to see what kind of offer you might get.
Yeah, we can walk you through that process. Because again, there's probably about 4 or 5 different programs, and so it really just depends on your situation. But yeah, we can walk you through that and walk you through that contract and through that process to figure out what's best for your situation.
Yep. So just give us a call, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah.
See you next time.